Hey everyone, today we're going to discuss about interest. So whenever we talk about interest, it refers to how much is paid for the use of money. So basically, this refers to the payment that we do for the money that we borrow. So there are two kinds of interest, the simple interest and the compound interest. So for our lesson today, we're going to deal with simple interest. Now, a simple interest refers to an interest that is computed from the principal only during the specified term. So basically, when we borrow money, the money that we borrowed is called the principal, and we take the interest based on that principal alone. So it's different from a compound interest, which we will see on our next lessons. So the formula for the simple interest is I, which is interest, is equal to P, which is the principal, R, which is the rate, and T is time. I is equal to PRT. So the principal, this P here, is also called the face value or present value of the loan. So it is the amount that it is right now. So let's have an example. Let's say that our principal is 50,000 pesos. Yeah. And this 50,000 pesos has an interest rate of 3%, payable in, let's say, 2 years. So how much will the interest be after 2 years? So we're going to substitute the values here. Let's not forget that in dealing with the rate, this should be converted in its decimal form. So 3% is 0.03. Therefore, the interest is 50,000 times 0.03, that's the rate, times the time, which is 2, principal, rate, and time. Therefore, the interest is 3,000. So that will be the interest when I borrow 50,000, payable for 2 years at an interest rate of 3%. Now, there is what we call a maturity value. The maturity value is the face value plus any interest. So let's recall that we had an interest of 3,000 and our principal was 50,000. So how much will I be paying now after 2 years? That will be the maturity rate. So the maturity rate is principal plus interest. And that is 50,000 plus 3,000. Therefore, this means that our maturity value is 53,000 pesos. Yan. So the maturity value is 53,000 pesos. What does this mean? This means that I'll be paying 53,000 pesos to the lender after 2 years. Alternatively, we have a different formula for the maturity value. This formula is the one that we're going to use more often than the P plus I. This is A is equal to P times 1 plus RT. So in this case, P is our principal. We have 1 plus R is the rate and T is the time. So let's try to compute the maturity value based on our given earlier. The principal is 50,000, the rate is 0.03, and time is 2 years. Let's use the same values. So A is equal to P is 50,000 times 1 plus R is, this is plus R is 0.03 times 2. So let's compute. That will be 50,000 0.03 times 2 is 0.06 plus 1, that would be 1.06. And if we multiply 50,000 times 1.06, the answer would be 53,000. So the value is still the same. So that's the maturity value and the interest in a simple interest. There's what we call a discounting as well. Now, discounting is the process of determining the present value P of any amount due in the future. So this means that if we are given with the future value of our interest, the maturity value, we would like to know what would be the principal or the present value. So basically, we are reversing the process. So earlier, what we did is that we have the principal, we'd like to know the maturity value. In discounting, we are given with the maturity value, we'd like to know the principal or the present value. Basically, principal and present value are terms that can be interchanged. So the discounting's formula is the principal is equal to maturity value over 1 plus RT. So P is the principal, A is the maturity value, R is the rate, and T is the time. So let's have an example. Let's say that a certain amount of money is invested at a rate of 2%. Then it was invested in 3 years. After 3 years, the value is now at 30,000 pesos. Let's say that one, for example. We'd like to know how much was the principal 3 years ago. So let's use the discounting formula for that. So P is equal to A is 30,000 over 1 plus rate is 2%, so that would be 0.02 times time is 3. So we have that. So the present value would be 30,000 over 1. 0.02 times 3 is 0.06 plus 1, that would be 1.06. So let's divide 30,000 by 1.06. So P is equal to 28,301.89. We're gonna round it off to the nearest hundreds because this is a money. Therefore, the principal that we had was 28,301 pesos and 89 centavos. And after 3 years, the amount will be 30,000. So that's how we deal with simple interest. For the next lesson, we're going to have partial payment. So I hope you guys learned a lot today. Thank you guys for watching and see you guys on the next video.